Hello, my name is Matthew Phillips, and this is a run through of my E111 final project. So, when first opening my game, it asked if you want to create a new account or load an existing account. So, we're going to click 1 to create a new account, enter your username. So, I'll just put my name in, and then it then gives the user the directions and how the game works. So, your environment score starts at 60, needs to get up to 100. If it goes 20 or below, then you lose the game. And it reads off your current environment score, the temperature status, and wildlife status. So first we can choose an action. So let's choose improve temperature status. So by clicking 1, and then now it'll say choose an action to improve the temperature status or make it worse. So let's plant trees. If we click 1, it says you planted trees, and you see our environment score went up 10 to 70, and now our temperature status is good and our wildlife status is good. So now let's try to improve the wildlife status. We can clean up pollution, plant trees, increase pollution, or deforest. So now we can clean up pollution, click 1, and now our score went up 7 to a 77. Now let's try and see what happens if we do a negative choice. So we're going to go back to improve temperature status, which then goes, and now we can do waste energy at 3. Now at C, we lost 5 points, but it didn't affect us totally. And then let's get our score to 100 real quick by planting some trees. And then to clean up some pollution. Now we're at 99. And then once you get to 100, you won the game. And then it ends the game. And then here is our code, my code. Okay, let's go to the top. Okay, so first we have our environment variables. We have the username, which can go up to 50, which is just the player username. We have the environment score, which is an int, and it scores like what your state is of the environment, which can be terrible, bad, okay, good, or perfect. We have our temperature status, which is the status of the temperature, which is just, and then our wildlife status, which is the same thing as what's up there. Now we have our function prototypes. We have a whole bunch here. We have the display instructions, plant trees, an action to reduce energy consumption, action to clean pollution, action to increase energy pollution, waste energy, deforest, and so on. You can see in the code right here. Next, we have this function to create a game. So you enter your username first, and then once you enter your username, it creates the game automatically, which then sets the environment score to 60, which is the starting environment score. And it also sets the temperature and wildlife status to okay. And then it creates the game for the said user, and it's stored in the file, which is down later. Next, we have the display instructions, which is pretty simple. It's just printing out text to explain the user how the game works at the start. And then we have small actions here, which when you go down, there are a bunch of different actions like we went over before, and functions that plant, that like change the game score. So like this first one, it plants a tree and the score goes up 10. The next one is you reduce energy being used from the environment, your score goes up 5. Then this one, you clean pollution, your score goes up 7. Increase pollution, score goes down 7. Waste energy -5, deforest -10, so on. Now we have a function to update the temperature status. So it's just if and else if statements saying, so if the score is greater than or equal to 90, the status is perfect. If it's greater than or equal to 70, it's good. If it's greater than or equal to 50, it's okay. Greater than or equal to 30, it's bad. and then anything else is terrible. And then once it gets to 20, the game's over, which is down later. And the exact same thing, but for the wildlife status. Next, this checks if the player has won or lost the game. So, more like if and else if statements. If the score is 100, it prints, congratulations, you won the game, and it ends the game. And then if your score is less than or equal to 20, it sets the temperature and wildlife status terrible, and it ends the game and displays game over. You lost the game. This right here saves the current game into the file. So once you type in your username, it opens up the file to save the game. And then there are options after every turn to save the game or exit. So if you click save, it saves your game into the file. This next function is what loads a game from the file as well, similar to what's before. And then we have manages the player accounts next, which sets, which is just another version. This is how you create new accounts and load existing accounts. It uses files and memory allocation, and it basically just like uses if and else if statements to load the games and store the previous usernames into the file. And if they're and it checks once if you try to load a file, if that exact username is not found, it prints account not found or invalid choice if there's a different number. And then this is the function for all the different actions. This runs previous functions that change the score. And this gives the player options to choose which one to do. And then same for wildlife, exact same, except different labels on it. And then this handles the user throughout the game. Then we go down. That's it.